Ohio State murders. Wow. So there is this force of nature, this actor above actors, this unicorn of a artist called Audra McDonald. Mm. And there is this other theatrical force of nature, a playwright in her 90s who has received accolade after accolade and lectured and taught all over the world and um, has received so many different accolades, but yet never had one of her plays on Broadway. This 90 something year old black American playwright female, never having had a play on Broadway. Her name's Adrienne Kennedy. And tonight, the two met at the brand new named James Earl Jones Theatre. And I got to be in the audience. Wow. Um, Ohio State Murders is not a long play. It's an hour and a half, maybe. Um, it's unit set at the beginning of the play. Well, when you come in, you are looking at a stage with bookcases all askew and all over. Bookcases in the air and the set. I mean, everywhere. Um, and when the play starts, she is there. Suzanne is the character's name that Audra McDonald plays. And she tells us she's been invited back to Ohio State University to lecture and to talk about the graphic, violent imagery in her work. She's a writer. Um, and yes, to talk a little bit about when she went to Ohio State University. I'm taking my jacket off. You guys, it's very cold and raining outside. Oh, that was a pretty picture, wasn't it? You guys never know what you're going to see with me. But it's warm in the hotel room. Anyway, so she starts to talk about how she came to Ohio State as a black female and what it was like in the 40s, 50s. I think it was the 50s. Um, and how she came to be pregnant, how she came to love literature and yet was denied. She wasn't allowed to major in English literature because she was black. Um, so that she was kind of forced into declaring elementary education as her major. Um, so it's Audra McDonald on the stage for the entire show. She never leaves the stage. There are one, two, three, four other actors who play a variety of roles. One of them plays the professor who, when she was taking his class, and in the first class, he was reading from Tess of the Dubervilles. Um, and she fell in love with literature, and that's how this character, Suzanne Alexander, fell in love with literature. Um, and then the story unfolds, and you learn very early on that she had twin daughters, and that they were murdered. Um, as Suzanne tells the story of her life at Ohio State and what it was like, especially for people of color, the rest of it unfolds. What happened, how it happened, all of that. Um, I feel certain. I haven't done my research. You guys know I don't do a lot of research before I see a new show, a show. I want to have that um, virginal experience, if you will. Um, I want to stop real quick and thank Mark Levine. Mark Levine is one of the producers of this play, Gemini Productions, Gemini Theatricals. I can't remember the name of his company. It's Gemini something. I'm sorry, Mark. I'll get it right when I tag it. I met Mark through social media. He saw some of my videos or some of my posts about being in theater, and we just messaged back and forth. I met him for the very first time tonight. Lovely man. I really enjoyed it. He invited me, Mark. Thank you for inviting me tonight as a producer. He was throwing a little cocktail party before the show, and I got invited to that, and it was very nice. Met some really cool people. It was great. Um, and so it was great to actually be there on a night. There were reviewers in front of me and reviewers behind me. I'll be very anxious to see what the reviews say. Um, Here is the brilliance of Audra McDonald. And I'm also going to say the brilliance of Adrienne Kennedy in her writing, because her writing feels very straightforward, very, here's the text, here's the story, this is what happened. It leaves the subtlety and the emotion, and that I felt that leaves that up to the actor and the director. This play is brilliantly directed. I mean, I don't, I'm a pretty strong, solid director, and I've directed a lot of theater. Directing somebody like Audra McDonald, I mean, she has won more Tony Awards in acting than any other person ever. She's the only person to have won all 4 acting Tony Awards, lead and support for a play and a musical. I mean, she really, I mean, I don't get intimidated by power or great, blah, blah, blah. But if I were to ever meet her, I don't know that I could form words. I would love to meet her, hint, hint. Um, but so I can't imagine directing her, but it beautifully directed, so exquisitely. I you A good director just lets you see the way the story is shifted and molded, and I could see, and it was just, I want to see who it was. I've got the program director. Oh, well, of course, Kenny Leon. Kenny Leon is a brilliant director. I've seen a number of his works. He's one of the main directors, with managing director with Roundabout. I mean, okay, well, that's not taking away from what you did. A brilliant job. It was brilliantly directed, but the acting was so emotional, so beautiful. I I was moved all throughout the play. I didn't ever really cry. I teared. I never guffawed, laughed out loud, aha, but I giggled a number of times. I did not think about the world at all. I did not think about my feet are sopping wet and I'm cramped and my leg hurts, and all of that is stuff that normally would creep into my mind. And in this, I thought none of it. I felt it. I was there. Adrienne Kennedy and her vessel tonight, Audra McDonald, took me and my fellow patrons on a journey. And it's a little sad. It was a sad journey. And it shows you the ignorance of systemic racism and the profound loss of stories and lives. And I don't want to tell you more. It is not a play that depressed me. The play inspired me. In the end, she brings it back to how she began the play, as a lecture. And I'm not going to take that ending away, because that was where I got, oof, and I made a sound at the very end. I'm so thrilled I was able to be part of this. Thank you again, Mark, for including me. Thank you. But if you can, get to New York and go see Ohio State Murders. It's a limited engagement. It's only till February, I think. Go see it. It is worth it. You will love it. It will keep you enthralled, and it is information that we all need. That has been missing in our community. Wow, what a night. I'm jazzed. I get jazzed after something like that. I do. It's funny. It's not like after a musical, a lot of times you're just up here and you're like, I want to go party with a bunch of people and blah blah blah. This, it just inspires me. It's just the creativity and what I was able to witness with Audra McDonald, Adrienne Kennedy, Kenny Leon's directing, the beautiful designing, the lighting was brilliant, the set, the costumes, all of it, that everything worked so that it was effortless. Beautiful job. That's my Theater Talks with Scott. Go see Ohio State Murders at the James Earl Jones Theatre, running now through February. That sounded like a commercial. Wow, somebody should hire me for this crap. All right, thanks for watching another Theater Talks with Scott.